Welcome back to the Power Up Spartanburg interview series. We are so excited to have you back. Today, myself, Destiny Dominguez, we are excited to have Joel Buckmeyer here. Joel is a Power Up participant and local small business in Spartanburg County, co-owner of the Storehouse Firm. So Joel, thank you so much for joining us today. Yes. Do you want to go ahead and tell the audience a little bit more about who is Joel and what is the Storehouse Firm?
Awesome. Destiny, thank you so much. We have grown in our meetings, each other. So to have this is such an honor, and I really appreciate you just giving me the opportunity to do this. I wouldn't be anything without my partner, Lisa Buckmeyer. So it's Joel and Lisa Buckmeyer, co-owners of the Storehouse Firm. Our whole journey has just been a journey of us learning financial literacy on our own, and just through the hiccups of childbearing kids and, raising a family, being two different types of folks. So my wife's from Jamaica, my family's from Trinidad, and, we're also two divorcees who had to come together and figure out how to do money. She's a saver. I'm a spender, and I was getting in trouble a lot, and I was trying to force a growth out of us. But through some great friends of ours and some family friends of theirs, we got a chance to learn how to manage our money and actually take those lessons and start expanding it to our family and, brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles. And then my wife was like, we should do this. Like, we should really do this. Our background, I'm military. So I was in the United States Army, couple different jobs through there. My wife was a respiratory therapist. I would see her in passing. So she'd work nights and I'd work days, and we would meet in the middle. So there's 6 kids between us two, so a blended family. My OG kids are my 2, and then she had hers. We came together and we created 3 more little boys. So fast forward to what the Storehouse Firm was. It is really just a financial literacy academy and education space where we allow families to learn and grow in the toughest topic possible, which is money. And as well as I know, even for small business owners, it's tough for them to start a business on shaky ground, which is their personal finance. So we walk them through debt. We walk them through their retirement process, or when they want to stop working for money and actually sit down and retire. And then we talk about everything in between. So having like an emergency fund, or having short-term savings goals, and even home ownership. So the Storehouse Firm has grown some legs. We started with kids, then we went from veteran families to veteran spouses. And because of what Power Up Spartanburg is doing, I'm able to talk to now small business owners about their personal finances in a big way. So I think that's us. I think that's the best of what I can describe as a initiative born out of some true pain of our own, my family's own, but then some triumphs on the other end, and how we can share that with families in our community.
So I love that your small business journey started, like with so many other small businesses, out of you saw that needs.
Right.
You realize this is an issue we're facing ourselves as a family. Yeah. We need to go ahead and help other families not experience that. And I kind of want to share with the audience a little bit of like how we met, because yes. I think it's it's one of those instances where everything happens for a reason. Everyone's placed in the right spot at the moment that they need to. And how did we meet, for those that don't know?
Yes, this is like you mentioned, there's no coincidences. So my sister, Jasmine Herbert Buckmeyer, she is the one that told me, hey, you need to come to One Spartanburg and start working through there. And I don't know what you're going to do, but you need to come and you need to go meet some folks. So it's the 2023. I've just left the Army completely, and I'm trying to do some volunteer stuff. And I worked with a organization that helped elderly get home repairs. And then I started volunteering with the Upstate Fatherhood Coalition. And so Jasmine heard me speak there to their dads who are doing economic mobility and employability boot camp. She's like, okay, all right, enough. You got to come to One Spartanburg. So she introduces me to Gabby, and then Gabby Pruitt. And then from there, you and I have an appointment, and we're sitting and talking about what we're doing. And I'm thinking it's, okay, this is the beginning. I need to start. I want to feel like I don't want to come up like I know everything. I want to be very humble, very like get whatever I need to know to be better. I want to know it. And I got to shout you out, Destiny, because I've seen you at a table set up. I've seen you getting people's stuff situated for the rooms to be put together at Power Up at One Spartanburg. So I appreciate that. The crazy thing happened. We're talking, we're walking towards the door, and it's Katrina Meeks. So we're talking about what we do, and you introduce her to me, and she asks, well, great, I think you would be great for our financial literacy piece. And I was like, this is so crazy because I've been wanting to talk to people about it and expand. Spartanburg is tough to get in, and if you're not from here, if you don't know folks here. So she asked me, she said, well, how much do you charge if we're going to talk about this? And I was like, I can't charge you guys. It doesn't make sense. I feel like if anything, I need to make a name for myself and be able to provide value. So two things. I appreciate you guys for taking a chance on me and not having seen exactly what I do just yet. And then the second thing is that upon me actually performing the job of actually doing a financial literacy piece, that you even want to expand it to a part 2, despite the hurricane and all the stuff that's happening. Like I think we really did so much learning through that process, Lisa and I, like what we have as a company or as a business is needed. And I can see the eyes of the folks light up as we were talking about. And so I appreciate you so much for taking the chance on us just doing something so embedded into what Power Up's mission is. And that's just to empower these small businesses to be better. So not coincidence at all. It was necessary. The time was right. Jasmine, Gabby, Destiny, Katrina, but you were the glue, and I appreciate you taking a chance with us.
Yeah, I'm so happy whenever those connections happen, just because it just is connecting the people to who they don't know. Right. And then once that connection's made, you're obviously seeing those results. Yeah. And whenever people are like driven and actually ambitious about what they do, it just happens naturally after you make that first little, hey, do you know this person? Do you know that person? Yeah. So I really one thing I would have to applaud you for is whenever we had that financial literacy that you hosted along with the South Carolina SBDC and the SBA, the way that you guys brought down financial literacy for small businesses. Yeah. And kind of before we talk about like small businesses and specific about financial literacy, I did want to ask, as a small business yourself, you and your wife, you're juggling so many things, obviously going through that first learning curve. What were some of the challenges that you first faced as a small business?
So I think there's fear right off the bat. We know that talking about money to people, first of all, is such a taboo topic. It is just as taboo as asking them who they voted for in some cases. So I can't just walk up on someone and say, hey, do you need life insurance? Or let me help you get out of debt. So it was the fear that we had talking to people, but also because we're asking about such an intimate topic. So our first challenge was trying to find an approach that wasn't cookie cutter, but that addressed the need for folks to actually take a deep look at their finances without thinking they were going to get scammed or thinking that someone was going to take advantage of them or charge them to do it. The average financial advisor will charge a certain type of fee, or you need to come with a certain amount of assets under management for them to even talk to you. And because we're like an academy, more so than anything else, we're teaching financial literacy, we get a chance to kind of just talk to you complimentary and ask you those deep questions. So that first challenge was overcoming fear talking to people about their money. Because before we make any dollar or profit off of that, it is really just, can I introduce this topic to you without you like saying, closing the door on me or not being interested. Second challenge is because we do juggle so much, we homeschool our kids. It was creating that time as a family to have planning for the business. So what we ended up doing was we were always doing this on Sundays. We would sit down and like map out doctor's appointments, X, Y, Z, whatever's happened. Where do you have to be? What do you got to do? Do you got stuff at the VA? Do you have stuff at homeschool? Do you have stuff at the library? And then there'd be this quarterly time we would just map out what we wanted for business. And I think after we figured out what we wanted, we were able to just be more direct on, I want to teach, we want to educate. And that became our core value, our core focus is just, we want to educate first. And I love that we did that, because I know sometimes business owners want to do a bunch of things. I want to help this person. I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do this. And we found our focus fast. But that was a definite challenge, because my wife wants to teach a certain way, and I'm big voice, big box. I want to overarch all the themes and trying to help push it forward. And so finding a happy medium when you're in a marriage and a business is it's a definite challenge.
I definitely want to hear a little bit more about that, because I realize with most small businesses, it is a family business. There's all hands on deck. And most of the time, it's hard to distinguish, okay, we're completely not talking about business right now.
Right.
So with that, what were those challenges navigating not only your family relationship, but also like how you guys work as a business together?
So you can't separate the two at all. And I know people think you can, but you cannot. So one of the things we did pre-business, and actually, matter of fact, I'm going to go back even further than that. So before the Storehouse Firm, we were Live Fit Total Wellness Experience. We were a fitness company. We were stationed in Miami, Florida, and I was teaching, jumping burpees, doing squats and stuff online, and my wife was running 5Ks, and we just turned that into our business. And then we started sending out meal plans and help people with workouts, and we had fun. We had fun doing that. So we went back and looked at that framework of the fun we had, and we had to interject that into our new business here at the Storehouse Firm, and it had to stay fun. So it couldn't be a situation where I'm only doing this and you're only doing that and that's it. It's got to be a heavy communication between who can do what. So if there's a client that needs to be serviced and she's really good at talking to the clients, and sometimes it's moms, I'm not a mom, so I can't relate. So I'd be like, Lisa, there's a mom that needs to talk, and she will give me some pointers, but it's always good for us to be together to show a unified front. So, that challenge of working together, family businesses, it can be overcome if you first know that this is my family, this is my wife, these are my kids. They're not going anywhere. So no one will take precedence over them. And so if they feel a certain way, or if we need to pause, or if we need to take a breath and step back, maybe we've had a little conversation with passion. I won't call it not an argument. We had a conversation with passion. We've got to come back to ground zero with each other and say, hey, so what was the part that we were missing? Maybe it was me not taking the trash out and missing the trash can that caused her to have a situation with me later, and I missed a mark somewhere. Or maybe it was me misunderstanding how she flows through a conversation with, a parent or, one of the kids that are, doing our financial literacy program for the kids. I just missed a comment she mentioned, and then I come in and interrupt her, and I need to make sure that I'm listening and understand what we're doing that day. So it's heavy, heavy communication. And if you miss that piece as a family business, I think even the stuff you do non-business will start to crumble, because there's so many things. We're taking on other people's families, debt drama, their savings drama. We do something called the debit card challenge. So then we got to look at our own debit cards. I'm infamous for Apple Music charges. Okay, so I'll get it, and she'll be like, Joel, we got to practice what we preach. So you got to clean this up. If we're going to tell other people, you've got to clean this up. So being able to take constructive criticism, even though I might be the one you're listening to, without her detailed, oriented process behind us and showing the value she has, even if she's not the face, that helps us stay grounded in our business completely. So it is a challenge, but I think communication makes it work.
I love how you guys have kind of, in a way, figured out that formula with communication, just because I feel like with so many families, even though they know it's an issue, they kind of walk around it. And that's one thing that it will ruin the value and kind of the progress that you have in your small business.
Oh, yeah.
So I did want to ask a little bit about like, you speak about like how you had a business, a fitness business in Miami and transitioned it over once you came back home to the Storehouse Firm.
Yeah.
So what was the business planning behind that? Did you have a business plan written out? Talk about that.
So we didn't have a true business plan. We were able to get with a couple different companies, PFS Inc., and then they taught us a couple things through Fidelity, Invesco. Hopefully I can name those folks. They're just educators of finance. So they come in and talk to us. And we have a business mentor out of Chicago, and she helps us kind of navigate what a firm could look like, what a insurance investment type of business could look like, especially in our market. So Miami is all about beauty and fitness and the beach and, bikini, like all that type of stuff, just the beauty aesthetic. So it was easy to work through that because I'm in the Army. I look a certain way. I was way more in shape then than now. My wife was running 5Ks with a stroller. Like we look the part, right? But that's all external. There's that stuff you can see. And then when we turned our cameras onto our house and our family, people also saw that we ate well, we did those right things. We didn't dissolve the business, but the pandemic happened, and I just didn't feel good about trying to charge people to keep our subscription, keep our workouts. So I shut that site down and just put all our videos on Facebook Live, and then we would go Facebook Live and like, hey, keep working out with us, stay motivated. I know you're stuck in the house. I know food's like kind of, you're doing Uber Eats and all that's available is a burger and fries, but let's try. And that kind of birthed the whole Storehouse Firm and financial literacy piece for us because we ended up getting licensed in insurance, investments, and annuities. And we were using those tactics on our own lives. So fast forward, our business mentor at the time, she really just set us up like, you guys will be great if you can do 3 things and help people with 3 things. Overcoming debt right off the bat, having some type of income protection through life insurance, and then walking through a open door with them that on the horizon, you can retire on time. And so instead of having like a true business plan, we dug into those 3 tenets and what that means for us. And then we kind of mirrored that for families that we met. So we would ask them of priority, what's the actual thing you guys want to accomplish? And they would tell us. And so sometimes it's debt, sometimes it's college savings, sometimes it's retirement, but we did it in a way that the plan kind of just morphed for us. That's when we decided we need to do seminars or teach classes or do Zooms because more questions were coming that were the same and more of our family and friends were asking us the same questions. So that's how it became like an academy type thing where we're teaching more than anything else. And then the byproduct of us teaching is that when we solve a problem, those ancillary products like insurance or investments pay us, and we don't have to charge a client to solve the problem. We get paid from those companies to actually help them do it. So not a true skeleton business plan. There is one that exists, and there's ones that has the 5-year and the 10-year growth and the market analysis. But I think I didn't start doing that till I met you, until I got with Power Up, and those questions were asked like, have you considered who's your competition, what you should be doing, what separates you from Edward Jones or Raymond James or Truist Bank? What will you do different? And I think our plan being very dialed in on what people can afford and what entry point they should be in when it comes to their finances was our goal and our aim. So I hope that answers the question. Like we have a fluid business plan, and it changes with the needs. Today or 2 days ago, tariffs.
Oh yeah.
And who knows, right? So instead of us, trying to fit a model, we need to answer the fears and help businesses and just your regular everyday families be able to maintain some semblance of peace in their house because they know they made right financial decisions at the lowest level.
Yeah, and I feel like that's just like the importance of being a small business owner, being adaptable.
Yes.
And not knowing like your business plan can't just be static.
No.
Even if you wrote it like 20 years ago, there's a reason you might be plateauing in that success. And I know for most of those businesses, whenever they're like plateauing in success, they look for a business mentor.
Yeah.
But can you talk a little bit more about what even inspired you to get a business mentor, and what are like some of the things people need to keep in mind when they're looking for a business mentor?
Absolutely. So I'm a big sports person. I only ran track though. So, and I have no records or accolades.
Hardest sport ever though.
And it's very I tell my son this. I said, track's a selfish sport, right? I can listen to the coach, but ultimately I'm running against my last time. I don't have anything to pass it to or anybody to pass it from. It's just me running. And because of that, you have to be very, very clued into whoever your coach is of your speed. You got to listen to them, watch your legs not going fast enough, your arms not going up. But I ran hurdles also, and I'm 5'9", so I'm short and I jump hurdles. So I had to learn how to switch legs. I had to do all that stuff. And if it wasn't for a coach, I think it would have just been harder and I would have gave up, because he's helping me talk through the mental aspects of the actual physical thing. And me and my wife just translated that to, well, someone's done this already. Like somebody's teaching something. It may not be finance, but they're teaching real estate or they're teaching something. So we knew that to, get past some of those early roadblocks and also have positive talk in our lives when it was hard, we have to have a coach. Also, someone to kick our butt when we're not doing the right thing. Like, I got to tell you, Katrina, I met with her and she talked to me and she was like, I'm gonna just be honest, your revenue is awful in comparison to how many people that you have to service. And I was like, well, she's like, no, there's no well, you need to do X, Y, and Z. So she had me go talk to barbershops and salons and estheticians who need some type of service. But had I not took her advice as a coach, my pivot would have been awful, or I would have just stayed the same. You mentioned being plateauing. Without a coach, I think you put yourself in lieu of being one of the statistics in business that they go out in 5 years because no one's guiding them. And I think sometimes the ego of having somebody above you tell you what to do, you need to bring it down some so you can really hear them and listen. If you want to be successful, you need mentorship. You need a business coach. You need somebody to just step in and be like, hey, Joel, I've been here. You and Lisa, ... Or, hey, you need to make this adjustment ASAP. And even now, I'm still learning. Like I'm coming into Power Up, maybe mentor and a mentee and learning the process. And I think it's important. I think there's no better success than, you having listened to great advice, not so much from experience of failure, but from somebody else's failures or somebody else's mistakes, and they succeeded. It just gives you the open door to walk through and say, hey, I can do this because they did it. Jordan had a coach, and Phil Jackson didn't drop as many points as he did. Kobe had a coach. It was the same coach and trainer. Tim Grover is one of the books I read. And this guy just said, take your good and your bad and give them that jump you need to be better than the next person. So I'm highly competitive, but the best competitors have a coach. And so me and Lisa know we need somebody to guide and lead us through those humps and bumps.
I love with your business model. You are coaching so many different people, and they might not even realize it is mentoring. Yeah. I know you're touching difficult conversations. With one thing I often hear with small businesses, they always have to figure out when to say no.
Yeah.
In your business, what are some of those instances where you might have in the beginning not had practiced that, but after a while, when did you realize, oh, I need to say no because this isn't a mutually beneficial relationship?
Yeah. So it came upon thinking about who I would introduce to our business as maybe a 1099 or W-2. And so this business of finance is very sales driven, very salesy, overcome the objection, get to the point, drop the smoke screen. And where that stuff takes place, there's this middle area of someone's motive for being on my team or their motive for wanting to be in this industry. And I think you can't be driven by money alone. I think you want to be profitable, but you can't be driven by money alone. And I say that because you'll make decisions based on money instead of someone's best interest. Like, I have a fiduciary responsibility to tell you the truth about something, especially when it comes to anything in your finances. And because of that, it may not give me the highest commission, or it may not help me do anything. It may just be that I helped you that day and then I don't talk to you again. So introducing teammates to that process, I think I'd have to be selective and tell folks, hey, at this time, it just doesn't seem like you're here for people. It feels like you're here for money only and not people. And so I'm not telling them no, more so that I'm telling them maybe not right now with us in the direction the Storehouse Firm is. I mean, our logo is a house. It's warm and it's inviting. And I wanted that to feel like that, so people know that the touchiest subject of your money is not going to be coming by someone who wants to take it from you first. They want to help you grow it first. And if there's a way I can help people do that, I'm going to have to say no to the ultra salesman, the guy who will do anything for $1. I mean, that stuff, I think, is the reason why it's hard to get into certain communities, minority communities, Black and brown communities, or maybe lower middle class communities, because they're holding on to that $1 that they just made. I mean, they work every single day, and like for every hour, if they make $20 an hour, that is $20 an hour times however many hours, and then that's maybe milk or grocery. So they're assigning the hour they worked to something that they bought. So how many hours did it take you to pay that bill? I refuse to let someone come in and make them feel like they have to pay above this hour situation. They have to do more, or they're being sold on something. We just won't take the car salesman idea of stuff, or the bad car salesman idea of how to approach a family. So I've said no to people working with us because I need to see their heart. I need to see their approach to certain things. And so, yeah, that was my first thing, bringing outsiders into work. There's very few. We have some great folks, but it is folks that we know that they've come from a great story and a struggle, and I see them doing things without me having to tell them or without me having to give them direction, but they're always for the people. Like, we have some nurses, we have a teacher we just onboarded. She's working through her license process, and she just wants to help people. She's from Jamaica, like my wife is, and she just wants to help other moms who are in the education field understand debt, interest, insurance, savings, all of that. So, yeah, that was my no. That was the first time. And I want to help. Hey, y'all pop on board and you can do this. You can come with me. And I'm like, no, you can't. Not yet. Not until you change your ideology about how you're going to approach our clients. So, yeah.
And with so many small businesses, I feel like that's one no. They definitely need to learn early on, just because, especially with right now how the talent industry is, and just having, like, most businesses might want to just put a body in because they just need to keep the lights on for whatever reason it may be. But especially knowing when to say no for the right talent is so, so important.
Absolutely.
I did want to ask, because you did mention you're part of the Upstate Fatherhood Coalition. And I think that's very admirable, considering most small businesses, they have a hard way of, like, balancing so many different things. And to know that you're actively helping the community, why was that a priority for you? And how did you make that time fit for your busy schedule?
Yeah, they're such a great organization first. I mean, they didn't need me. I actually needed some of the services they had. I'd say some time ago, I needed to figure out how to navigate child support for my own self and do some other things. So because they take whether you are a 6-figure earner or a 1-figure earner over $1, they don't care who they help. They're there to help dads navigate it. And for the most part, dads are kind of like one-track minded. Like, go to work, come home, that's the end of it. We don't take care of things like our admin. So we don't get kids' birth certificates, their socials. We don't help them get passports. Some dads don't know their kids' teachers' names, the nurse at the school, the kids' coaches' names. And so when the fatherhood made that a priority for dads to be just as involved as moms, I had to jump in. I'm the dad of 6 children that I want to see be their best self in the world, but I need to be just as involved as their moms. And so I got with Mr. Philip Haygood, and I was just volunteering. It was right out I got off the military, and I just started volunteering. I would come there. Hey, do you need help setting up chairs? I just want to listen in on classes. I wanted to hear and see what the community's fathers were facing, especially if they don't know how the court system works or they don't understand how the job and employment system works. And Phil said, hey, well, what do you do? And I'm like, well, Phil, I'm licensed to do X, Y, Z. And, if you ever need somebody to talk or to the guys, I'm more than welcome to help them like build out a budget or something. He's like, you can do more than that. So he handed me this book, and he's like, this is our economic mobility book. You think you can talk about leaving a legacy? I was like, yeah, it's like insurance-ish in estate planning and stuff. So I did my first class with them, and it was received very well. I got a chance to do some follow-ups with the guys. And then so fast forward, we made that a staple that I would come in and teach economic mobility and then the employability boot camp. I think it's important for small business to connect in the community beyond, going to a BNI or going to a networking event. Those events, it's already somebody there who wants you to do something, right? So like I'm there, and there's like the real estate agent wants to talk to the finance guy, and we just want to swap clients. But to me, that doesn't let me see the true picture of who my business is for and if I'm helping families. So these dads were like the first point of contact where I can like affect a generation of folks right off the bat. Like I can see them. And I think small businesses should volunteer more. You might find your clients in either the participants or those who are working at this in the industry. They might be the ones that you need to talk to. So the executive director or the program manager at this small business, at this nonprofit, that might be an open door that you can start talking to them about their own situation or what you can help them with. So I think it's another bridge and a great way to show that your community is just as important as your clients are. So.
And I will say, I also have to applaud you because the most of the times whenever we've seen each other in passing, I remember one time the library was doing an event and you were advocating for Upstate Fatherhood Coalition. And I realized you were not in your business mindset, but you put on your hat to help the young fathers and fathers at all ages. So I do have to applaud you for knowing when to have that distinct, different shift.
Absolutely.
So I did also want to ask, with your business journey, I know we talked a little bit about like your involvement with Power Up Spartanburg, but what are some of the things you've learned so far through Power Up Spartanburg?
So I think, like we mentioned about coaching before, I think it's an untapped gem out here. I don't think people know how important it is to have a program just like this in a town that's growing. I mean, we just put up a baseball stadium, right? So how do we capitalize? How do you as a business owner capitalize on that? You have to go through a program in mentorship because they have, and PowerUp has the infrastructure. It has the team to get it done. It's got the market research to get it done. So 2 things. First, having gone through my appointment through the SME process and just marketing, because I'm 42. So I'm on that cusp of should I be on social media or not, right? Or should I be website driven? So PowerUp's already helped me decide how to be organic in my reach just through my marketing SME meeting. That was just, you have no idea. It's to the point where even now, like my current website, I shut it down after their advice because I want to do it the right way. Mine was very adsy and come here and do this. It was just corny, for lack of a better word. And now it'll be so much better because PowerUp's going to step in and have an SME who's been in that marketing process for a long time and they have proven success. So that's the first thing I learned. The other thing is that you have to, like I mentioned earlier, put your ego aside. Just because you might be the only one doing a certain thing, you're still having to go through the same business processes. So you still need to understand your financials. You still need to understand the legalities of what you do. You still need to have market research. You still need to like start showing up and being in the know in either city government, county government. You've got to do that. And I think PowerUp allows me to almost have to kind of sit into a bubble, a safe hub as I'm growing. So I don't get slapped in the head over with a building permit that I should have known about had I been at Power Up seminar that SBDC and you guys collaborated on. So I think it's important for anyone who's going to be in this program to take advantage of every meeting, hop on every calendar, sit down with someone and just ask the questions. Don't feel like, well, I've been in business for 8-9 years, I should know this. No, the climate's changing, the landscape of business is changing. And if you don't take advantage of something like this, you're just going to be stuck not knowing. And that could be really, I think about business as there's someone out there I need to help. And if I'm not efficient, I'm not helping them. And so how do I get efficient? There's a whole program. It's like a whole program to get efficient fast without feeling like you don't know enough. So I've learned to take advantage of the process here, and I've also learned that it's important to be ego-less. Be here, be ready, and do the work. Do the work.
So I'm so excited to hear what this 2020, the rest of 2025 and 2026 look like for the Storehouse Firm, especially with the tools and resources that you've been plugged into.
We're excited. We had an opportunity to talk to the students at Tennessee State University, and we did kind of like a book club thing through the psychology of money. And so we were teaching that, or kind of like doing Q&A through that. So universities are our next target. We want to be able to walk into universities and maybe even the high schools as well. But that was our first huge major event, 5-session cohort where I was traveling to Tennessee. And I was teaching the engineer impact students who, alongside the Tennessee Titans, were learning about business and engineering, the process of building a space for more students to actually learn how to be in engineering and then create projects for affordable housing. So that was huge, because now we're talking about, hey, you guys have a clean slate. There's nothing for you to mess up if you can just take this advice. And so, we're helping them stay away from Forepay and Klarna and all these other crazy things that are affecting them as students, because they're part of that instant gratification generation where I see it, I want it, I have it, and giving them a layout. So we want to be in the school districts. We definitely want to be in the universities and be a voice for that, but also empower some of these younger students to be able to intern through our process and then get these licenses alongside of what they're going to eventually do. I think it's just important to plant one person in every family that knows how to navigate this. And so 2025 is definitely high education. We want to be in middle school, and the university, high school, and talk through those places. Then the other thing we're thinking about, and I think it's kind of have some legs, so we were talking about it outside. There's a gentleman, great guy, Harrison Village LLC. He will be developing about 4.5 acres or 70 different homes along with Oaken Ave coming up here. And we'll be the premier financial literacy space for them. And the fathers from the fatherhood will have an opportunity to walk into those homes debt-free with down payment assistance and do some great stuff through that. So it's a vision right now. And I'm just kind of hanging around as an advisor on the outside of it. But the Storehouse Firm will be directly affecting those families and making sure not only do they have home ownership, but they keep their homes and they don't lose them because they just didn't have the knowledge of how to, maintain their budget, stay out of bad debt, and make good savings decisions. So 2025 is going to be heavy education, a lot of seminars. I will learn TikTok.
That's the one thing.
I will learn.
I feel like no one really knows TikTok, especially with how it's changing right now.
Yes. And Lisa, by the way, she's going to be doing a Moms and Money series. So she'll be speaking directly to moms about managing money, how to do it as a homeschooler, as a parent who doesn't, who has kids go to school, doesn't matter. She's going to be navigating Moms and Money series. And she started that process with a wonderful couple. They're actually our marriage counselors, Isaac and Jackie McJimsey. We love them to death. They are the best. They are the absolute best. But, because of what Lisa and I were able to do and talking to them, it kind of spurred on her to say, well, you know what, there's a need for mamas, because 9 times out of 10, they're either at home or they're at home and working, or they want to be small business owners too. And they don't know how to do it with raising kids or either single or not. So she's had that story. She had to raise her daughter for a little bit by herself as a single mom, and then she had to maintain a career and keep a budget and keep a house over her head. Like, those things are so paramount for new moms to hear that it's possible for you to do. So those are 3 things. I think those are good 3 things we're going to knock out. So
that's so exciting, though.
Yeah.
I did want to ask real quick. I know you have mentioned a few words of advice for small businesses, but one thing, if you want a small business to just keep in mind every single time, what is that advice that you have for them?
So biggest thing I think for small business is that most of them will have a great idea and they'll pursue the business side and they forget their personal finance. And so your personal finances and your business finance will mirror your personal finance. So my first advice is to navigate the top 3 foundational things, or the accounts you need. You need to get some type of insurance on your personal life.
Yes.
It's necessary. You, spouses, everyone, they have to have something like that. Second thing is to start an emergency fund. And you'll hear this through a couple folks like Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey. They'll all talk about the 3 to 6 months. And now I think post-pandemic, 6 to 12 months of living expenses saved in an emergency fund. Highly important. And last but not least, have an exit strategy for both either. Some of our small business are like part-timepreneurs, I guess. So they have a 9 to 5 and then they work their business after work. And so my thought is, when will you exit? And what does exiting look like? There's an accumulated amount of money you need to save that says I can walk away from both of these things and be okay, and my family be okay. So shore up your personal finance ASAP. Get that stuff dialed in. That way you'll do the same in your actual business, and your actual business will have key man insurance, and it'll have savings and emergency. And there will also be an exit plan when it's time. I mean, you can't do hair forever, right? You can't be 80 years old and doing micro braids. You can't be on the construction site in your 70s. You're gonna have to be able to turn that over to someone, and you need a plan and exit strategy to do that. So shore up your personal finances, and your business will mirror that success.
Well, thank you so much, Joel. Where can small businesses or anyone in general find out more about the Storehouse Firm?
Okay, so I told you my site is shut down right now, but it's a good site. No, Destiny, you've seen it prior to my meeting with the marketing process, but you can just go to livemore.net/JNL Buckmeyer. And it'll pull up a landing page for us, and you can just kind of see what we do. There's a little appointment booking process. You can also follow us or my page, Instagram, J_G_Buckmeyer on Instagram. And then my number is a business line on purpose because I want it to be like that. So 786-582-4300, and just text your name and what you want, and we'll get right back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing so much of your wisdom. For anyone that's interested in getting connected with Power Up Spartanburg, we do have our website, www.powerupspartanburg.com. We also are on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So go ahead, get on our website, get connected, and then fill out some contact information, and we'll be in contact with you to be able to start your business journey or grow your business journey. Whatever way, we're here to help.